amazing.
Thank you to Jacob Benjo for that beautiful rendition. We are trying something for the first time, and hopefully there will be too many glitches. We know we're trying to fix the quality of the video, but I'd like to welcome you all. For over 60 years, we have celebrated the Hilula of Shimon Bar Yochai, Zechruto Yagen Aleinu Ate Tikva. And even during these uncertain and difficult times, we are determined to continue with this sacred and spiritual event. Today is Lag BaOmer, a day in which, in and of itself, has the power to sweeten judgment and annul decrees. Any situation a person finds himself in can be resolved through prayer on this day. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was known to perform many miracles. He was once in a city that had a plague, and asked Hashem to remove this plague from the city and its citizens. And Hashem did so. The last 2 months have no doubt been exceedingly difficult in our community, as well as the entire world. It is the hope of all who joined us tonight, either on Zoom or through the website link, can sit back, enjoy the warmth and spirituality of the evening, and bring our community closer together despite being physically isolated. Tonight's event will be a little different than previous years, as all members who were afforded the opportunity to pre-bid on candles of the Tzaddikim, as well as purchase select items through our website. And we deliver those items to their respective homes. There will be no auctioning of any items tonight. Our esteemed Rabbi Oziel will light the candles of the Tzaddikim here, and those members who received replica candles will also light it simultaneously in their home through the interactive portal. Synonymous with the Hilula is our beloved Kobe Velo, who unfortunately is unable to join us tonight as he is traveling back to Toronto today. Kobe, you will be sorely missed for your humor and the Hiva you bring to this event. B'ezrat Hashem, you will be leading this Hilula for us for many years to come. I would like to personally thank Mr. Mayor Kislassi and family, who sponsored the beautiful piyut books, which were designed by our Partan, Eli Oziel, and were mailed out to each member. The donation was made in the memory of his wife, Perla Kislassi, Zichronah Levacha. And also I'd like to thank the Schneeweiss family for sponsorship of our raffle prize, a MacBook Pro, donated in the memory of Estrella Schneeweiss, Zichronah Levacha. I would also like to thank the many donors who purchased candles and items online. Year after year, your generosity continues to amaze. This year was no different, as we were able to raise over $40,000 for the synagogue. Before we begin, an event such as this requires many hours of preparation and put together. Thank you to our co-chairs, Isaac J. Oziel and Ariel Oziel, our office administrator, Nina Ben Lezra, and the many volunteers that helped deliver all the purchased items to our members. Lastly, a huge debt of gratitude to our two pillars of strength during this difficult period in our history. Rabbi Yosef Oziel and our Parnas Isaac Oziel, whose shiurim and daily teilim have given us so much comfort when we need it the most. Chazak u'baruch. Now I'd like to pass it over to our choir for some song and spirituality.
חותך את הדממה. ישראל אלוקיי אתה כל יעזור, נתת לי את חיי, נתת לי הכל, לעיניי דמעה לבוכם ושקר, כשהלב שותק הנשמה זוהרת. ישראל אלוהי, עכשיו אני לבד, חזק אותי אלוהי, עשה שלא אבחר. הכאב גדול ולאן נברח, עשה שיגמר, כי לא נותר בי כוח. שמע ישראל אלוקיי, אתה כל יכול, נתת לי את חיי, נתת לי הכל, בעיניי דמעה לבוכם בשקט, וכשהלב שותק הנשמה זועקת. שמע ישראל אלוהי, עכשיו אני לבד, חזק אותי אלוהי, עשה שלא אבחר. ולאן לברוח, עשה שיגמר, כי לא נותר בי כוח.
So we begin tonight with the first candle of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Donor of this candle is Abe and Louisa Benita, in memory of his father Marcos Benita, Zichrono Livracha, his brother Isaac Benita, Zichrono Livracha, and father Leon Benolio, Zichrono Livracha.
איש מלכותנו אברהם, יצחק, יעקב, משה ואהרון ושלמה, הוא יברך לשנה טוב ומזכיר החשוב כמו ליבי, אברהם וניקח ואשתו ומשפחתו שהתרדמו, נר של התנא האלוקי בשם בר יוחאי זכותו ירחם עלינו אמן. מלכת העמה ויברך יתך וזכייתך וישמע בקצרתך, וזכות השרעית תגן בעדו ובחדשתו, ולזרוע יהיה לו הטוב שיותר בנעמים. ויוכלנו בוקר לברך את כולן לכן ירצון ונאמר אמן.
And now if you can join us, we are going to ask Abe and Louisa to join us on Zoom and light their candle, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And in the Tiyut book, page 3, sorry, page 3.
Bar Yochai, Nishata Shecha, Sheretza, Son Mecha Lecha, Bar Yochai, Shemitzvah Kodesh, Nishata
The next candle of the evening is Kol HaSadikim. The donor of this candle is Estella Cohen, in memory of her parents, Salomon and Sarah Ben Dayan. We're going to ask now that the rabbi light that candle.
يشبرك المتبع كالنشوط بهذا التوراة السلام كرحب من أول من الإمشاء هكذا بسمع من إخوانات استريا كوهن ما كده عنا هو من الختام زكيته بيشوف كثرته بيتسمي كل ترى لازم كثرته بعده وبعد كل مش مختلف كل شيء بيشلح لا أكبر أكثر صحاب الصوم عسل مسكوت تنها هذا الكتاب بعده ياريخ لا هي بها بتوبش متهب النعيم يفلل كل كلان لخير لا تصب إنه ما نبي يشبه لك متم أبراهام يسحب ياكم وشيء أهرون نبي شو مهم لك شمتهم واسكر عشوف كل بيشوف فؤاد بل ما كده عما هو يبرخ يته بزكيته بيشما بكثرته وسكوتها ما تجمع شو يشلح وين الفوش لما أنا إلا رفلو أنا إلا رفلو متمعلف كل جزرات كشوت بالعود في جزر على جزرات تبود ياريخ له يما بتوبش رتب النعيمين بيخللوا بكل بناخد كلان لخير لا تصب بنمار آمين.
Also for the Kol HaSadikim candles, everyone who bought candles for the Kol HaSadikim, the smaller candles, should light now. Next candle is Rabbi Meir Baranes, the donator. The donor of this candle is Pini and Colette Havita.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק, יעקב, משה ואהרון, דוד ושלמה, ויברך שמתו. המזכיר החשוב כפנחס אביטל בעל המצווה, הוא אשתו בנה מלכת עלמה. הוא יברך יתם וזכייתם, וישמע בקצרותם יצא מכל צרה, והנזק ובזכות התורה תגל בעדם, וזו שלהם בזכות התנא האלוקית תגל בעדם. יאריך להם ימיהם לטוב, ושלוחם בנעימים, ויכלול בהם כל ברכות כולם, וכן יהי רצון, ונאמר אמן.
We ask if Pini and Avital are on Zoom to please light their candle, and the piyut for this, Rabbi Meir Baranes, is on page 6.
Rabbi Meir Baranes, Rabbi Meir Baranes, Rabbi Meir Baranes, Zechuto yagel alenu, ekach leshuv v'esanes, leshoren lichvod hadaruf, Rabbi Meir Baranes, Isha Elohim Kadoshu, Rabbi Meir Baranes, Rabbi Meir Baranes, Rabbi Meir Baranes,
donor of this candle is Danny and Elaine Ozio.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון ושמו יברך השם הטוב ומזכיר החשוב כבורבי מסעוד דניאל עוזיאל בר יעקב ואשתו בניו מלכת עמה ומלכייתה וזכייתה וישמעו לקצרותיה ויצאו מכל צד הכנסת וזכות התורה תגן בעדו ואת כל שלו זכות הצדיקים יגנו בעדו ובעד כל שלו ויניח לו ינבתו ושלותיו הנעימים ויוכלו בכל כולם לכן ירצון ונאמר אמן.
We now ask that if Danny and Elaine are on Zoom to please light the candle for Bibi Chaim Pinto. The next candle is for Sol Hasadeket.
Can you hear Jimmy? Can you unmute me? Put your video mobile. Thanks. And children.
The next candle is for Sola Sedeket. The donor is David, Raquel Sananes Grad, and Ron and Mandy Sananes, and children. In memory of their parents, Mesod and Mercedes Sananes, Zichrono Libracha.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון ושלמה יברך השם הטוב המזכיר החשוב אהרון סננס ומשפחתו שזכה למצווה מלכת עמה הוא יברך יתך וזכייתך וישמעו בקצרותך יצילו מכל צרה ונזק וזכות הצדיק תגן בעדו את כל שלו ויאריך לו ימיו בטוב ושנותיו בנעימים ויוכללו בו כל הברכות כולן וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן.
פיתחו לי שערי צדק עמומה
The next candle is for Ram Bendi 1. The donor of the candle is Eric and Maurice Kalevik and Isaac Ozil. In memory of Moshe and Anita Ozil, Zichrono Libracha, Parnas Emeritus.
And Maurice. And Maurice. And Anderson.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון דברו שמו יברך השם הטוב ומזכיר החשוב אריה ינקלביק ומשפחתו וגם השם הטוב ומזכיר החשוב כבוד משה ינקלביק ומשפחתו שזכו למצווה מלכת עמה הוא יברך יתם מזכייתם ישמעו בקצרותם מכל צרה ולזכות התורה ובעדם וכל שלהם וזכות הצדיק תגן בעדם וכל שלהם ויאריך להם ימיהם הטוב ושלותיהם הנעימים ויכולן בהם כל הברכות כולן וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן.
Isaac and Claire.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון ושמו יברך השם הטוב המזכיר החשוב יצחק עוזיאל בן משה הוא ואשתו בנמקת עמה הוא יברך יתך וזכייתך וישמע בקצרותך וזכות הצדיק תגן בעדו את כל שלו ויאריך לו ימיו בטוב ושנותיו הנעימים ויכולן ברכות כולן וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן.
שירו לאלוהים חיים מרסי סיבה תורת משה
say a few words in honor of tonight and about the Tzaddik Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and how we can relate it to our lives in general and perhaps in our lives this year with the particular circumstances we find ourselves in. But first, more importantly, I would like to wish everybody in the Hayim Tovim Shalom. As I was saying, I would like to begin by wishing in the Hayim Tovim Shalom to many years of good health and happiness and Atzlacha Beracha and Yeshua salvation and Nachat from all of us, from our children and grandchildren as Hashem, para muchos años, and we should always be united in this magnificent synagogue as Hashem very, very soon. The Hayim Tovim. I'm not done. I want to share a short message about the Tanah Rabbi Shimon and how it can relate to our lives today. We say in Bar Yochai, Ashrei Yoladatecha. We say to Bar Yochai, Rabbi Shimon, fortunate is the one who gave birth to you. And then we say, Ashrei Ha'am Hem Lomedecha. Fortunate is the nation, that's us, who learned from Rabbi Shimon. Ve'ashrei ha'omedim al sodecha. And fortunate are those who are able to understand his secret, sodecha. Lebusheh hoshen tumecha ve'murecha. Those who wear the breastplate of Aharon, the urim ve'tumim, that beautiful breastplate that was worn by Aharon HaKohen. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai revealed the secrets of the Torah. Until Rabbi Shimon, we only knew what was on the surface. Before Rabbi Shimon left this world, he left an enormous light, and the light was the secrets of the Torah. But my dear friends, Rabbi Shimon taught a lesson, and the lesson is that people, Jews, are not to be taken at face value. It is easy for us to size up a person by how they look, and how they talk, and who they come from, and what city they're from. Rabbi Shimon taught us that it is extremely important to try to delve into the essence of things. So he taught not only that the Torah has depth, but even the Jew has depth. You see a Jew, and it's easy for us to judge them and to size them up and to put them into a box. But we don't know that this Jew has dreams. They have hopes, they have aspirations, they have feelings, they have a future. There are things that scare them. There's a tremendous depth to the Jew, and this is what Rabbi Shimon revealed to us. To look at the depth and to not be satisfied by what is on the surface. The Gemara tells us that when Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai emerged from the famous cave in which he hid for 12 years with the son of Bir Azar, at first he came out and he was very shocked because he had been in isolation. He had been in isolation for such a long time. He got used to seeing the world in a certain way, in a very holy and sacred way, in a godly way. When he came out into the world, he couldn't make peace with the fact that people were running around doing things that he considered to be a waste of time. He was sent back into the cave for another year by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want him to judge that way. When he comes out, what happens, says the Gemara? He encounters a Jew on Friday running in the streets with 2 bunches of besamim, with 2 bunches of aromatic herbs. And he said to the Jew, where are you going with this? So he says that it's Shabbat Kodesh, and I'm taking these herbs so I can say, V'racha borei mine besamim, in honor of Shabbat. So Rabbi Shimon asked him, why 2 bunches? He goes, easy. One is for the mitzvah of Zachor, one is for the mitzvah of Shamol. When Rabbi Shimon heard that, what does he say to his son? I'm sorry, my eyes. He says to his son that, look, he said to his son, Kama habibi mitzvot al Yisrael. Look how much the Jews, they value mitzvot. And yativ da'ateh, he was calmed. For the first time he was calmed. What was it that calmed him? What calmed him is that he realized that we're so quick to judge people and we think that what they're doing is foolish. But it was only when he saw that there is depth to their thoughts, there's depth to their actions. There's reason why this Jew went out of his way to find 2 bunches. He realized every person has depth, and I shouldn't be so quick to judge things by the surface. This is the teaching of Rabbi Shimon. And that's why we say in Bar Yochai, Ashrei ha'omedim al sodecha. Fortunate are those Jews who learn from the secret. What does that mean? Who learn from Rabbi Shimon how to look at things not on the surface, but to realize that everybody has depth Everybody has things deep within them. What you see is the tip of the iceberg. Underneath that tip, there are miles and miles and miles of deep personality. There's a past, there's a present, and there's a bright, magnificent future. This is the lesson that Rabbi Shimon taught us. Perhaps in this time, when it's been already a bunch of weeks, we don't even know how many weeks, the weeks just go by so quickly, that we've been away from the public eye, away from people who see us on the surface. We are at home with our families, those who know us best. We have to focus inward. It's a time to be building our pnimiyut, our inner realm, our inner dimension. It's not a time that we care so much on what's on the surface. Right now, all of that has been put on pause. Now is a time when we have this extreme, unbelievable opportunity to focus on what's really important to the person. What lies deep inside of us and inside of all those that we love. So there's a very strong connection between this year's Lag BaOmer, Rabbi Shimon, who taught us of what it means to look at beyond that facade of a person and to see that there's depth in each person, and to therefore, because of that, learn to love each person, even if what you see on the surface is not very attractive. But we have to realize that there's much more than what meets the eye. This, Lag BaOmer, for the first time perhaps in many, many years, we are in tune more with this idea. Right now is when we have been focusing on ourselves. Yehi Ratzon, it should be the will that this great light that shines on this day of Lag BaOmer should be the great light of our salvation. That Ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bring a salvation to all those who need a salvation, individuals. And I would like to mention in particular 3 individuals, please, 3 names. I'm not going to say who they are. If you know who they are, please just answer Amen. That we pray for their refuah. The first one is our dear member, Dina Leah Bat Sarah Rasha. The second one is young man, Yonara Hamim Ben Chaya Rina. And the third one is the father of our dear friend in France, who Baruch Hashem is doing better, and he still needs to continue getting better, Bezat Hashem, Achuf Bar Reina. They should have a refuah shlema. I already said the refuah shlema for the other person that I prayed for. They should all have a refuah shlema, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu should also bring a light of salvation, a much more general salvation to the entire world. May we be zocheh to go out me'afela, from the darkness, or gadol, to the great light, b'hera, b'yamenu amen. I take this opportunity to wish each and every one of you a wonderful, wonderful Lag BaOmer. May we be zocheh to connect with that inner light in ourselves. May we be zocheh, more importantly, to be reunited in person very, very soon. All of us renewed, improved, Bezat Hashem, to go into a brighter future. Amen ve'amen.
Amen.
Honored Rabbi, esteemed Parnas, my dear members and friends, like many of you, Petach Tikva has an extremely dear place in my heart. I eat, sleep, and breathe Petach Tikva. In fact, my actual first memory of my life was in Petach Tikva as a young child. Growing up at PT, I've always understood the deep connection our community has with our Chachamim, and in particular, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai Zechuto Yagin Aleinu, and his Hilula today on Lag BaOmer. Growing up, I watched how so many of our members honored the memory of their loved ones, invoking the tefillot of the Chachamim of Morocco to pray on everyone's behalf. Whether it was donating beautiful Judaic items, or traditional cakes, or their hard-earned money, or even their limited time, our members involved themselves in this holy work in order to better our community. My generation is the beneficiary of your hard labor. This shul stands here today with many young families, Baruch Hashem, because of the dedication and commitment to religious and community life by the previous generation. And it is our duty to keep the continuity of our traditions for the next generation and instill in them the importance of tonight's Hilula. A few nights ago was the Hilula of Rabbi Meir Ba'al Haness Zechuto Yagin Aleinu. But that night was also Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni was created for individuals who were impure during the time of Pesach. These individuals could have excused themselves from Pesach and its duties, but they refused to. They did not want another year to pass where they would lose out on the opportunity to perform spiritual acts that would affect their lives forever. We are living in such a turbulent time. Our lives have been flipped upside down. Workplaces and stores stay empty. Schools and parks are closed, but even more importantly, our beloved Bet Knesset is sitting bare for weeks on end. There's no sense of normalcy in the world. A few weeks ago, we had no idea what extent our Hilula would be happening, or whether it would even be happening at all. Yet, here we are. I, for one, am so impressed at the constant dedication and love that our members have for these tzaddikim. You are like the individuals from the Torah who pleaded with Moshe Rabbeinu to find another opportunity to perform the mitzvot of Pesach. You would not let this opportunity pass. You all gave from your hearts and your souls and are all here tonight on Zoom or on YouTube, whichever it is, to celebrate with us. We may be in our respective houses, but tonight we are bringing the Kedusha and the aura of the Tzaddikim into our own homes. This Hilula is a first for me. While I have always taken on a more backseat, silent role on many committees in the shul, I look forward to the next 2 years being a part of a great leadership team to move our beloved shul into the near future. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all those who dedicated their time and effort to making tonight happen, in no particular order. If I missed any specific name, I sincerely apologize, but your hard work and efforts are still much appreciated. Rabbi Oziel, the Parnas, my brother Isaac, the president, Jim Oziel, my father, Eli Oziel, Shlomo Buzaglo, our IT team, Joey Naft and Yehuda Leon Ben Ezra, Ruben Oziel, Maurice Yankelevich, my wife Shira, Talia Oziel, Gladys Mendelawi, Mark Osowski, Jacob Benjo, Avraham Oziel, Victor Arobis from Simcha Wine, our delivery team, Robin Ben Mergi, Dali Padro, Chaim Akum, Natalie Soberano, Yoav Bochot, Raquel Sananis Grad. A big thank you to our office admin, Nina Ben Lezra, for all your hard work, dedication, and attention to detail. Oh, and all those late night texts. A big thank you to Estella Cohen, who in my opinion embodies what the Hilula means in all aspects. Estella understands the importance of honoring these tzaddikim by giving back to the community with her valuable time and her generosity, which are also appreciated. And finally, the last but never least, is the co-chair who really ran most of it. I just was there for bouncing the ideas. Isaac Joe Oziel. The Pirkei Avot says, "Emor me'at va'aseh harbe." Say little and do a lot. That was written for Isaac. I have never met an individual with more drive and dedication towards our shul. His creative thinking, his momentum, and his ability to get things done are all a real inspiration to me. From the bottom of our hearts, this community thanks you. And with that, I want to take this opportunity to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that in the merit of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Zechuto Yagin Alenu, and all the tzaddikim, and the merit of all the chesed displayed by this wonderful community, that he blesses us with all the berachot in the world. We should soon see all of us should see each other in this beloved Bet HaKnesset very soon. Amen.
Amen.
And we will continue with candle lighting. The next candle to be lit, which is a candle of Rabbi Yitzchak ben Walid, Zechuto Yagin Alenu. We know every single year we count on this individual. Sometimes he goes away to Aruba during the time, but it's okay. We know this is his tzaddik. Isaac and Judy Benatar, and they are dedicating the lighting of this candle for the refuah shelema of Yona Rachamim ben Chayarina.
מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון, דוד ושלמה, ויהי לך שמתו, ומספיק חשוב כמו יצחק בן עטר, מן כדע עלמה שלא פקד מושבו, מן כדע עלמה ויברך יתה וזכייתה, וישום מקצרותה ויצרים מכל צרה ונזק, ויעזרו אל עדים לכם שמו, וזכות הסרטיק תגד בעדו ועד אשתו ובניו, ועד כמשפחתו חשוב, ויאריך לו יממתו ושלותיו בנעימים, ויוכלל בכל ברכות כולן, וכן לרצון, ונאמר אמן.
אני אשיר בשירה למס מורות אורה, לכבוד אורה מנורה,
packages, and we are delivering on his behalf to the kids of Petah Tikva. If you did not get one, then for your child in the next couple of days, call our office. The next candle, Rabbi Baruch Toledano, is donated by Elias and Adina Tobi.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון, דוד שלמה, יברך אשר הטוב ומשכילה חשוב כבוד בלי אליהו, טובי בר שמואל ואשתו בניו, שזכו למצווה מלכת העלמא, הוא יברך חייתך וזכייתך וישמע בקצרתך ויצחק מכל צרה ונזק, וזכות התורה תגן בעדו ובעד משפחתו שלו, וזכות הצדיק תגן בעדו ובכל שלו, יליך לו יום הטוב ושלותם לנעמים, ויוכללו בו כמלכות כולם לכם ברצון ולומר. The cube is on page 3.
Akvite shurat timrat shema chai tochachai Akvite shurat timrat shema chai lichvod Yisrael Elohim ushmori b'shem Bar Yochai nechbaka
who's not here. I miss hearing his auction going twice, and I hope to see him soon. Tito Kobi, we love you. The next candle, Rabbi Yehuda Jabali, donated by my uncle and aunt, Jack and Simon Oziel. We thank you very much for your continued support. We know every year a candle is going to be bought in honor of one of the tzaddikim. And the piyut is on page 8 for those who are following.
I have a personal connection to this Sadiq. Rabbi Jabali was from Al-Qasa. My father, Allah was from Al-Qasa. I used to always hear this name, so it's very, very dear to me. I just do want to mention, somebody texted me while we were saying to say also that this should be a zechut for the Rufah Shelema of the child, Michael Yosef ben Moshe. As well, one last thing. Unfortunately, and it bears mentioning that one of our soldiers at Eretz Yisrael was buried today. He's greeted by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in Shamayim on this holy day of Lag BaOmer. May this be a merit for his neshama, Amit ben Yigal, Zichrono Livracha. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון, דוד שלמה יברך השם הטוב, המשכיל החשוב ויעקב עוזיאל, בר יצחק ואשתו בנה מלכת עמה, הוא יברך יתך וזכייתך ישמע כזרותיו מכל צרה ונזק. וזכות הצדיק תגן בעדו ובכל שלו, ויאריך לו יממתו ושנותיו ונעמים וישלח לו רפואה שלמה ויבטיח את כולם לכן מרצון ונאמר אמן.
Be'eshir Hadim Yekoli Lesurgo Ali Lichvod Adam HaKadosh Rabbi Yehuda Jabali
The next candle, Rabbi Abraham Mulhanes, is dedicated by the Kohen family. A candle that we like to light every year in honor of our honorary Parnas, Meir Kohen, Zichrono Livracha. Mr. Kohen was our Parnas here at Petah Tikva, and I remember him as a young boy how dedicated his life was to tefillah, and to the Bet Knesset. And we are so lucky to have an individual like that who was a part of our framework of our community for so many years. We'd like to honor him with this candle, sponsored by his family. There's one story I'd like to share that I remember one Simchat Torah, when it was one of the rabbi's first Simchat Torahs here, that we decided with the, well, we didn't say we, because I wasn't part of that decision, but to dance in the middle of the shul. And I remember Mr. Kohen taking the Sefer Torah with all his might, and he was putting it up in the air, and he had such simcha. It was such a lesson for the children to see the real simcha of the Torah. And with that, we'd like to honor him. This candle for the Kohen family and his son Jack, which have Mishaderach for Rabbi Abraham Mulhanes.
מי שברך אבותינו מאברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון בן שמואל מלך השם הטוב והשכל החשוב, כבוד יעקב, כהן בר מאיר, הוא ואשתו בניו שזכו למצווה מלכת העלמה. הוא יברך יתך ויזכה יתך, וישמור בקצרתו מכל צרה ולזק תורת לבעדות שלו, זכות הצדיקים, תגן בעדות שלו, ויאריך לו יהיה רב טוב ושמותיו בנעמים, ויוכלל בו ברכות כולם, לכן ירצון ונאמר אמן.
אברהם אבינו padre querido, padre bendito, luz de Israel, al rey Nimrod al campo salía, miraba en el cielo y en las reyerías logrando saca en la judería que había de nacer. Abraham vino, Abraham Avinu, Padre querido, Padre bendito, luz de Israel.
The next candle we're going to light is Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar, the Ora Chaim. This candle is donated by the Ben Attar family, Mosey Ben Attar and family, in beloved memory of Mr. Eli Ben Attar. Mr. Ben Attar was the treasurer of PT for 30 years. I'm not even a third there yet. And I know from experience that it's a very taxing job with very little credit. But he did it day in and day out for so many years. His dedication to our shul and the admin side for sure is unmatched. And we miss him. I miss sitting there on Sunday morning breakfasts with him and Mr. Pinto. He should have long life. And Yeshua Kohen. And they were laughing their heads off every single Sunday at breakfast. I had no idea what they were saying. But it was just funny and amazing being around there. And with that, we're going to light the candle in his memory.
Before I light the candle, I want to say something about Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar, the Ora Chaim HaKadosh. This year, we were in Israel in November with a group of people. We went to visit a big rabbi by the name of Rabbi Reuven Elbaz. And we heard unbelievable things about his connection to the Ora Chaim HaKadosh. There's a whole story, I'm not going to get into it, but the point is he was in his yeshiva, the Ora Chaim HaKadosh. I myself, in the last few years, have been getting very, very much into the commentary on the Chumash, the Ora Chaim HaKadosh. It's a very, very unique commentary because it blends together brilliance in the Torah that is revealed, but he also incorporates a lot of Kabbalah and a lot of Hasidut, and it warms your soul. The Torah, the Ora Chaim HaKadosh is very unique. He's buried on Har HaZitim, and my cousin Al Shalom, rabbi from Miami, passed away a few years ago, is buried right next to him. The Ora Chaim HaKadosh and my cousin, their Nahalot are just 1 or 2 days apart. So it's a very, very profound connection. Ora Chaim HaKadosh, without a question, is one of the great, great giants that we are very proud to have to be part of that same nation. It's a very, very big zechut to be lighting this candle. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון בן שמואל מלך השם הטוב והשכל החשוב, כמו רבי משה בן עטר, הוא ואשתו ובניו שזכו למצווה מלכת עמה, הוא יברך יתיהם וזכייתיהם וישמור גזרותיהם. וזכות הצדיק תגן בעלות כמו שלא יאריך לו יום מבטו ושבטיו בנעימים, ויוכלנו בו כל ברכות כולן, לכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן.
The next candle, Rabbi Chavit Toledano, is dedicated by Danny and Lila Soberano and family. Our past president, Danny, we know we always can count on you for your generosity, and we thank you very, very much for donating this in memory of your father, Rabbi. We will do Mishaberach in memory, in the Zechut of Rabbi Chavit Toledano.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם זה יעקב משה ואהרון ובשמו יברך השמתו מעשית החשוב כבוד דניאל סוברנו הוא ואשתו בניו שזכו למצווה מלכת עמה הוא יברך יתיהם וזכייתיהם וישמור גזרותיהם ותמי כל צרה ונעשה ושמוע תורה תגן בעדו ותקול שלו זכות הצדיק תגן בעדו וזכרו שלו ויאריך לו יום מבטו ושבטיו בנעימים ויוכלנו בכל ברכות כולן וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן.
עוזרני אלוהי
Before we continue, we have a beautiful duet coming right up from the rabbi, our esteemed rabbi, and his son Abraham. Wow. We're not going to mute all of you, but I don't know about you, but that was chills. Chazak u'baruch to Rabbi and Avram, and accompanied by our wonderful pianist, Jacob Bengio. The next candle, in the name Rabbi Yehuda ben Shimon, Zechuto Yagen Alenu, is donated by our esteemed Parnas, my brother, and his wife and family, Isaac and Lisa Oziel. And the rabbi should give him a mishaberach, that he should be many, many years for health and happiness.
I want to say Mishabarach also for Lisa, Mishabarach Imotena Kemoshe Batorot Salari Karachad Belea. Biyavarach et Yishak Vadavatuna Avinich Vedatunat Hilula Bat Kayla. Malka Da'ama hu Yivarach Yatah Vizakiyatah. וישמע בקצרותיה וזכות הצדיק תגן בעדה ותקולה שלה וישלח לה אלפו שלמה ונכלה ימיה ותושנותיה בנעימים זכות הצדיק תגן בעדה ותקולה שלה ויכולה לו בקבל לכת כולם וכן ירצון ונאמר אמן. מי שברך בתנו אברהם יצחק ויעקב משה משמו יברך שמה טוב ומזכיר החשוב כרבי אליהו עוזיאל בר יצחק הוא ואשתו ורמק דעמה ויברך את זכאתה שם כצרה וזכות הצורה תגן בעדו ובא נשפט אברך שלו וישלח לו את ברכה רווחה והצלחה בכל מעשיו וזכות הצדיק תגן בעדו ותקולה שלו וישלח לו אלפו שמה ויכברך את כולם וכן ירצון ונאמר אמן. Rabbi Yehuda ben Shimon is an important tzaddik for us. They're all important, but Rabbi Yehuda is very connected to our community. He was the father-in-law, as we know, of Rabbi Yamin, and Rabbi Yamin is very connected to our community. So these are our dayanim. We owe a lot of gratitude to individuals who dedicated their lives for our well-being. We are here today because these individuals spent their lives planting the seeds that we are reaping from their benefits today.
أشريهم أشر يالدا ربحنا ربح سدا ابن بيدتا حمودا مورنو ربي يهودا نودا باشعة بشمو صدق متهالخ بتومو بعمي سراع على شيخمو والروشاني هتعودا أشريهم أشر يالدا ربحنا ربح سدا ابن بيدتا حمودا. Next candle, in the name of Rabbi Yamina Kohen, is donated by Danny and Batya Schneeweiss in memory of his mother, Estrella Schneeweiss. Zichrona Libracha. Danny, I miss sitting next to you at shul and our nice talks. That's obviously not during the rabbi's speech or during the Torah reading, in between the aliyot. And we can't wait for the shul to be back open so we can have our chats again. And Nabi Mishaberach.
This is Mishaberach for Bob, our very, very dear Bob. But I just want to mention that we have a beautiful, magnificent, huge mural of Rabbi Yamin in our foyer. You should know that when I lived in Montreal, I was a little kid. I heard the name Rabbi Yamin when I was a little child already. I had a cousin, Rabbi Abraham ben Jo alav shalom, was a Sadiq, he's a cousin of my mother, and he used to speak with tremendous veneration about Rabbi Yamin. He said that he learned a lot from him. So as a little child, I already knew who Rabbi Yamin was. So for me, when I came here and I saw the connection and how he was here for many years, it was very, very gratifying. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב משה ואהרון ושמו יברך שמה טוב. המשכיל החשוב. מאיר אהרון, הלוי בר מאיר אהרון, הוא ובניו וכל השלומה כדעמה הוא יברך יתה וזכייתה וישמעו מקצרתה ויצא מכל צרה וזכות התורה תגל בעדו ותקל שלו זכות הצדיק תגל בעדו ותקל שלו ויאריך לו ימה בטוב ושנותיו הנעימים ויוכלל לו בכל הברכות כולן וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן.
ועמי שרע על שכמו וראשני התעודה אשריהם אשר ילדה רבחינה רב חסדה.
I want to say Mishaberach also שם תהמלת מבוסת וישיבת נפש השמתו המזכירה חשוב בשמעון הלוי שנפטר ותרמה רוח הרבית יחנו בגן עדן לכבוד רחם וסמכת ומצב ונאמרמן ושמלה כמותנו הקדושה והתורות צרת בלך דקשה כדי לעצמה מכבדת כבוד שרה לוי שזכתה למצווה מלכת עמה ומזכתה וזכות התורת גם בעדה ותקדושה ותוסיף לדאבעון וכן לרצון ונאמרמן ושמלה כמותנו הקדושה והתורות בלכת אישה ימדך צמאה ונכבדת מלאת אסתרה כהן מלכת שזכתה למצווה מלכת עמה ומזכתה וזכות התורת גם بعد وبعاد بينهم ورحمة بشرى بشرى حلت وسدا وسدا صديق تجد بعد الشراب يريخ لا يوم يهبطوا شو تبنا مين بيخلق بخد كلام بخلي رسول بنوار أمان
يدول خرايونا علمي بدنيوتت عالكير متخبسيناي نهاير النري مكان بتاعنوناي أفاير بشيري بخول يامال بشاناي عدنا على علام اسمع باخ اسمع باخ اسمع باخ اسمع باخ العلام اسمع باخ قوي نفسي الجولات علام.
The next candle, Rabbi Yaakov Abu Chatzera, Zechuto Yagin Elenu. In the last couple of years, I bought some of his books. There's a nice pirush on the Chumash that I've been learning on Rabbi Yaakov Abu Chatzera. It's extremely deep, and I've grown an affinity to Rabbi Abu Chatzera, and therefore my family and I decided to dedicate this candle for Rabbi Yaakov Abu Chatzera, that he should pray on our behalf, on the entire community, for everybody who needs refuah, for everybody who needs a shidduch, for everybody who needs parnasah, anybody who needs a babe, a child, they should all be answered. Amen.
אמן אמן. מי שברך בתנו אברהם זה מקום משה ואהרון בן שמו הוא יברך השרתו המסכנה חשוב כי הוא יחבו אריאל עוזיאל שזכה למצווה כדעמה הוא יברך את פסיקתם של כל צנעה ולזה מצוות תורת מעדו הוא עניש בתוך שלו ישלח לו ברך הצח בכל מעשידיו וזכות הצדיק תגד בעדו כל שלו ויאריך לו ימתו שלותיו בנעמים ויכולה לו לברך את כולם וכן לרצון ונאמר אמן אמן
רוח בהלליבי להגענו מנורה לכבוד הקדוש ליבי יעקב אבו חצרה נקית עול כפיים כבעה כנפיים תתשו שמיים רבנה בכל התרא לכבוד הקדוש ליבי לכבוד הקדוש ליבי לכבוד הקדוש ליבי יעקב אבו חצרה.
The next candle is in the name of Ovadia Yosef, Zechuto Yagin Alenu, a Chacham who has ultimately changed, the rabbi will mention, the framework of Sephardic Jewry in our recent days. It's donated by Yehuda Allen and Rina Azulay and family in memory of their dear cousin, my dear cousin and good friend Jack Uzaylu Alav Shalom, who could always find his way into every Jewish event in the city, and we miss him dearly. And Rabbi Mishamerach.
It is with tremendous reverence that I'm about to light this candle of a giant in our days. Chacham Ovadia Yosef, Zechuto Yagin Alenu, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha, was truly a giant. He was a king. They referred to him as a king. Man Malchei Rabbanan. He was a king. He carried the badge of the Torah, and he brought Torah great honor. His logo in his life that they used to say always is to return the crown to its previous glory, and truly he did that. He raised single-handedly the kabod of the Sephardic Jewry in Eretz Yisrael, and I have to say that I revel in his books up until today, and I am more and more profoundly impressed to see the unbelievable knowledge, the unbelievable clarity of the way this man writes. So it is with great reverence that I'm about to light this candle. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב משה ואהרון ובשמו יברך השם הטוב המסך חשוב כבוד יהודה האזולאי ובעל יוסף ואשתו מלכת עמר ומלכת וזיקתם וזכות התורה תגן בעדו כל אשר וזכות הצדיק תגן בעדו ובעד כל אשר יאריך לו ימים לטוב ושמותיו בנעימים ויוכלן ובקום לכם כולן וכן ברצון ונאמר אמן.
It's now an opportunity to do the last few candles, and we can't be remiss if we don't mention our illustrious leaders in our community who have led us to this day. We generally would dedicate some items to the Hilula, our dear past presidents, our dear sisterhood past presidents, our honorary Parnasim, and so tonight we use the opportunity to remember them and pay tribute to them like we do every single year. And this final set of candles that we're going to do now, the next one is going to be lit in the name of Rabbi Yitzchak Kaduri, and we'd like to thank Mr. Albert Abergel for donating this candle and doing it in memory of his father, Mesod Bar Sultana Abergel Zichrono Livracha, and in the refuah of his dear mother, Sol Bat Aliyah. Thank you, Albert.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב משה ואהרון ובשמו יברך השם הטוב המסכים החשוב כרבי אברהם וברכם שזכה למצווה על כדעמה ויברך יתך וזכייתך וישמע מקצרתך מכל צלב לזכר וזכות התורה תגן בעדו ועד כל שלו ויאריך לו יהיה לו ושמותיו בנעימים וזכות הצדיק תגן בעדו ולימו ושמותיו שלו ויכול את כולם וכן לרצון ונאמר אמן.
יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח
Our next candle, which is donated in the name of Rabbi Yehuda Khalfon, is donated by the trio of All Seas Fisheries, Danny Soberano, Ralph Soberano, and Albert Abergel. Fittingly, they've done it in the refuah of all those that are suffering from the current pandemic. May everybody have a refuah shalema, and we thank the trio for putting together this wonderful candle in those that are suffering.
מי שברך אותנו על מקרגו, כמו שמשמעו יברך השמתו ומסכי לחשוב, כמו רפאל סוברנו, הוא ואשתו בניו, וגם השמתו ומסכי לחשוב, ודניאל סוברנו ואשתו בניו, וגם השמתו ומסכי לחשוב, כמו רבי אברהם המלכן, שזכו למצווה מלכת עמה, הוא יברך חייתם וזכייתם, וישום מקצרותיהם, עם כל צרה ולזכות התורת עם העדם וכלו שלהם. וזכות הצדיק תגן בעדם, ויוכלנו בהם כלה ברך את כולם, וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן.
תורת מדנה תנלנו ברוך אשר בחר בנו יקריים מפנים נתער הנעמים ידע משל עוני זאת מסרנו ירשנו תורת מדינת עלנו ברוך אשר בחר בנו.
The beautiful idea of having contemporary tzaddikim is the relevance to modern day. And luckily, if you enter the parking lot, the main parking lot of Har Menuchot, you'll see Rav Shalom Messas. I know this very well. My grandparents, Alav Shalom, are buried right next to Rabbi Shalom Messas. And as such, every time I have the privilege to go to Israel and visit their kever, we have the chance to go bless and be blessed by Rabbi Shalom Messas. So tonight we want to thank David and Chana Soberano for donating the candle in the zechut of the tzaddik, and may you and your family be blessed for many years to come. Thank you to the Soberano family.
It is said that Rabbi Shalom was still in Morocco, but because of how great he was, Rabbi Obadiah Yosef, who was already a person who was well known, he was already a high-ranking Dayan, he sent for Rabbi Shalom to come to Israel to lend his expertise to some of the most difficult matters that a Beit Din has to deal with. Rabbi Shalom was a Sadiq who lived an unbelievably simple life. His apartment, he had his little bed behind him, and he had his books, and that was his life. When he got exhausted, he would lie down and sleep, and then when he was done sleeping, he would get up and he would continue to study. And he spent his life writing, helping people, answering questions, administering tests to young rabbis who wanted to become dayanim. That's what his life was. We have a very strong connection to Rabbi Shalom because, again, he was one of the last remnants of the great Hachamim, of the illustrious Hachamim, of a millennia of Hachamim in Morocco. זכותו יגן עלינו. מי שברך בתנו אברהם זה בקרוב משה ואהרון שמו יברך השם הטוב, המסך נחשו כבוד דוד סוברנו בר יוסף, הוא ואשתו ובניו שזכו למצווה מלכת עמם, הוא יברך את זכתם של כותב מעדו ועשו שלו וישלח בכל מעשה דם סתה צדיק לגן מעדו ויכולה לבקום לכות כולם וכן לרצון ונאמר אמן.
שלום לבן דודי
which is a candle that we've recently added. We added it because it has special significance to shidduchim, to arranged marriages or marriages, and significance of those that were looking, and very special blessings in general. And tonight we want to thank Elias and Dini Benaim for sponsoring this candle in the name of Rabbi Yonatan ben Oziel, and they've done it tonight in the refuah of Dina Leah Bat Sarah Rasha.
Yonatan ben Uziel is a Sadiq that we just visited when we were in Israel. He is very, very, very far into a winding road in the city of Amuka in the north. And it's very, very far away. They just recently paved the road. It used to be much more difficult to get there, and it winds up and down, and right and left. But thousands and thousands of people go there because they believe that tremendous Yeshuot, tremendous salvation comes from Yonatan ben Uziel. And so with that in mind, I would like to light the candle on behalf of Elias and meaning with the hope, the fervent prayer that B'ezrat Hashem, although the road is a winding road, that we hope that at the end will come tremendous, tremendous Yeshua. מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם סיבה כבוד משה משמעו יברך השם הטוב, נזכיר חשוב כבוד אליהו בן נעים, בר יעקב הוא ואשתו בנה מלכת עמה, הוא יברך ילדיהם וזכייתם ושמותיהם מכל צלם ולזכות התמונה בעדו ובעד אשתו ובעד כל משפטו וחשבו וישלח לו אנחנו צריכים לעשות בזכות הצדיק תגן בעדו בעדה ויוכלו לתמכות כולם בחן ורצון ונאמר אמן. מי שברך אמותינו הקדושות והטהורות שרה רבקה רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את האישה הכבודה והצנועה והנכבדת פרת דינה לאה בת שרה רשע, מלכת עמה, הוא יברך את זיקתה וישמע כזאת ולהצלים מכל צלם ולזכות התורת בעדה ובעד בעלה ובעד בניה ומשפט אבו שלה וישלח לבוא שנאמר אנא נפן Allah ויתר עליה כל גזרות קשות ורעות ויגזור עליה גזרות רבות ויאריך לה ימיה בטוב ושמותיה בנעימים וזכות הצדיק תגן בעדם כל אשר יכברך את כולם בחן ורצון ונאמר אמן.
שובו לתורה
about Kobe Ben Lolo, but he's my sidekick at the Hilula, and we'd be remiss if we didn't mention him a third time. He is traveling today. He wanted to be on with us, but we miss you, Kobe, and we hope that you'll be with us next year in your usual spot. And finally, our last candle, the Sadiqim are in no particular order, and it's extremely difficult to place them where they are. But Eliyahu Nabi, for his righteousness, sits as the final candle tonight. And tonight we are going to light this candle in the name of Eliyahu Nabi, and we want to thank Lucy Delmar, who is always constantly supporting our Hilula and our synagogue. Tonight she's dedicating this candle in the name of her father, Senor Yaakov Delmar, Jackie Delmar, and may he have a zechut in Shemayim in the merit of tonight. Lucy, if you're on the Zoom, we ask you to please light the candle now as well.
Just before concluding, I would like to say Hashkava, one last Hashkava, and then just one final word, and then we will light Very difficult to be able to attain who even Eliyahu Nabi was. He's way beyond our reach. Although these tzaddikim that we have on our table are giants, Eliyahu Nabi was a Nabi, he was a prophet. It's very, very difficult to even understand who he was. And we're lighting a candle for him because it is written in the holy books that even Moshe Rabbeinu appreciates if somebody lights a candle in his memory on his Hilula. Why? Because although they are towering giants in our history, but the reality is we are alive and we have one advantage over them. The advantage is that we can go up on the rung of ladders. They are as great as they are static. They're not able to move. And so even though Eliyahu Nabi was so great, but we don't hesitate to light a candle in his memory, and it is our fervent prayer that he will go before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Eliyahu, who is the Nabi, who will announce the salvation, may he go before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we pray for the salvation of all of Am Yisrael, right now and forever. Amen. Kehihi Ratzon.
Amen.
מי שברך, אמותינו הקדושות והטהורות צלם כרחל ולכת האישה כבוד עצמה ויכבדת אורה Ora Dalma בת שמחה, מה כדעמה, הוא יברך את משקתה וישנו מכתות על זמן התורה תגיד בעדה ובעד ביתה ואומש בדה בקשו לה וישנה חולה אז בחלקוס לה וזכות הסדיק תגן בעדה בתורה שלה יניח לה ידיה בתור שבתיה בנעמים ויכולה בתורך את כולה וכן רצון ונאמר אמן
אליהו הנביא אליהו תשמעי
And now with all the candles lit, that concludes our formal session of the lighting of the candles. We want to thank everybody for participating in the Zoom session and on YouTube. We have a few little more things to finish off, but I want to mention that it's been tremendous to see the support of the membership and our dear friends who supported us online with your items that you purchased and that we've delivered to you. And we hope that in the Mirror of the Tzaddikim, that everybody has blessings for this year and many years to come. And we're going to do the raffle now. Everybody that purchased a raffle ticket online has been entered into the draw. The rabbi has the box in front of him with all the raffle tickets. The first prize, so we're going to add a second prize. The first prize that we're going to do is the MacBook Air, donated by Danny and Joey Schneeweiss in memory of their dear mother, Estrella Schneeweiss. And the rabbi will pull the winning ticket. If you are the winning bidder, if you are the winner, your MacBook will be here at the shul to be picked up. Drum roll, Jacob. Drum roll. Rabbi, let's get a drum roll.
Okay. The winner is Charles Ben Arosh.
Mazel tov! And our second prize was donated by Simcha Wine and Victor Robitz. It's Five Stones Vineyards Virtuous. It's got a $250 value, 1.5 liter bottle. It's yours to whoever chooses. The rabbi is the next winner of this prize. Again, this prize will be available at the shul for pickup.
Okay, the winner is Daniel J. Oziel.
All right. Good stuff, Danny. And now we're going to move to another performance by the choir. Please enjoy Esai and I by our choir.
Give them a microphone.
final conclusion to our evening, the rabbi is going to offer a Misha Barach to the Kahal. We have opened the Petichat HaEchal, and we'll end the evening by singing Hatikva after the rabbi has blessed the entire congregation. We thank you very much for joining us tonight. May you all be blessed for many, many years to come.
אמן. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון, ונשמור בכל הקהילות הקדושות והטהורות, הוא יברך את כל הקהל הקדוש של פתח תקווה, של קסטיה, מלכה נעמה, הוא יברך את כל מזכי הצפון, וישמעו בכל צרותיכון, ופרטו ותשתזרו מכל צרה ועקתה. וזכות כל הצדיקים והתנאים הקדושים יגיעו בעדם, וישלח להם הברכה והצלחה בכל מעשי ידיהם. ירבה שונאינו תחתיהם, ויאריך להם ימיהם הטוב, שורותיהם הנעימים, ויוכלם בהם ולברך את כולן, וכן מרצון ונאמר אמן. מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם ויעקב, וברך את צבא ההגנה לישראל העומדים על משמר ארצנו ועל אלוהינו, מגבולי לבנון ועד מדבר מצרים, ומן הים הגדול עד לבוא הערבה ביבשה, באוויר ובימים. כן אדוני את אויבינו הקמים עלינו, נגרפים לפניהם. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמרנו יצילנו מכל צרה ומצוקה, ומכל נגע ומחלה, וישלח ברכה וצלחה בכל מעשי ידיהם, ידבר שונאינו תחתיהם, ויעטרם בחטא ישועה עטרת ניצחון, ויקוים להם הכתוב כי אדוני אליכם, ההולך עמכם ולהילחם לכם עם אויביכם להושיע אתכם ונאמר אמן.
Amen.
who's at home, everybody who's here, Tizkei mitzvot, y para muchos años, Be'ezrat Hashem, with health and happiness. Amen.